Dealerships charge thousands for transmission problems, but I fixed mine in a 25-year-old Lexus with a product that costs less than 10 bucks. The shuttering stopped instantly. Want to know what that means? It's not magic. It's a dead simple diagnostic test that tells you whether it's just dirty fluid or something more serious. Imagine avoiding weeks at the shop and saving thousands with a single $10 step. I'll show you how I did it, why it works, and the exact point where you decide whether to change fluid or dig deeper. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Drivers often think that when a transmission starts acting up, the repair automatically costs thousands. The moment you feel that shake or the car suddenly shudders when shifting, your stomach drops. It feels like the beginning of the end for the car, the dreaded moment when you picture a mechanic telling you the gearbox is done and the quote starts at $3,000. But here's the surprise. Sometimes the tremble isn't the death sentence at all. In fact, one small bottle that costs less than a fast food meal can tell you in minutes if your car's in real trouble or just crying out for a quick service. Think about it this way. You're on the highway, steady at 45 miles per hour, and you notice a vibration that feels like you're driving over a rumble strip. The first thought that hits is, here we go, the transmission's dying. That single word, transmission, creates more panic than almost any other part of the car because the reputation for being costly is legendary. For most owners, the next stop is immediately the shop, where the mechanic often recommends either a full rebuild or replacement. And while it's true that mechanical failures do happen, the truth is something far less dramatic can cause the same symptoms. That's where the $10 secret comes in. There's a product called LubaGuard Instant Shutter Fix. It's not magic, and it certainly isn't meant to replace a mechanic, but here's what makes it powerful. The formula is designed to condition the fluid already inside the transmission. You pour this tiny bottle into the dipstick tube or filler, and within minutes of driving, it changes the way the fluid interacts with the internal clutch packs. On my old Lexus, which had 233,000 miles and felt like it was riding over gravel every time it hit second gear, I added the additive and the shutter stopped cold. Instantly, smoother shifts. No delay, no harsh vibration. Here's why it works. Automatic transmissions rely on fluid, not just for lubrication, but for pressure and friction control. Over time, that fluid degrades. Heat breaks down its composition and it collects debris from worn clutch material. The result is a sticky situation inside those clutch packs, where the surfaces start grabbing and releasing unevenly. That jerky pattern is what you feel as a shudder. The additive temporarily alters the surface tension of the fluid. It allows the clutches to grab cleanly instead of slipping and catching. The real key is that it doesn't fix worn parts. It only reveals whether the fluid is the main cause of the problem. That's exactly what makes this so valuable as a diagnostic step. If the additive smooths out the problem immediately, then odds are good that the transmission itself is still healthy and simply needs a proper fluid service. That means draining out the old contaminated fluid, replacing the filter if the design uses one, and refilling with fresh fluid. That's often a $60 to $120 job, compared to several thousand. But if the additive doesn't help at all, or it only masks the issue for minutes, it's a sign that the deeper mechanical components are worn, which means bigger decisions ahead. So instead of being cornered into saying yes to the shop's most expensive repair, this little test lets you call the shots. You can decide whether the issue is fluid-based and solvable with routine service, or whether it's time to prepare for bigger repairs. It flips the balance back in your favor, giving you information before anyone else touches the car. And when you're the one holding the knowledge, you don't get blindsided. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Fixing the shuttering is just one piece of the puzzle, because once you start uncovering issues yourself, the car begins to tell you a lot more. Like when the next light on the dashboard comes on and you realize that learning to play detective might save you even more than that first $10. What if fixing one frightening problem actually leads to another warning light? But instead of disaster, The solution ends up being almost laughably simple. That's exactly what happened right after the transmission shutter went silent. One moment, everything felt like a huge win, and then suddenly, the check engine light lit up the dashboard. Nothing kills relief faster than seeing that amber light blink back at you. At first glance, it looked like the car had traded one problem for another. And when the code popped up reading EVAP system, it felt like nothing had truly been solved at all. If you've never dealt with an emissions code, the name alone can sound expensive. An EVAP system is shorthand for the Evaporative Emissions Control System, a network of tubes, valves, and sensors meant to trap fuel vapors and burn them instead of releasing them. It's one of those hidden systems that you only hear about when something goes wrong. So the first reaction is worry, because you start picturing hundreds spent on parts you can't even see or locate without crawling under the hood for an hour. And for anyone driving an older car, the thought of back-to-back breakdowns quickly spirals. First the transmission, now emissions. What comes next? Many owners start to wonder if the car is signaling that the end is approaching, and the temptation is just to give up before the big bills start stacking up. But here's where the fear met reality. With a simple OBD2 scanner, the kind that plugs into the port under the dashboard, I could read exactly what the car's computer was seeing. The EVAP fault code sounded intimidating, but instead of jumping straight to a mechanic, I took 10 minutes to look closer. And within those minutes, the supposed multiple system failure unraveled into something almost shockingly small. A single vacuum hose had slipped loose. That was it. Pushed back into place by hand, the light shut off after a short drive cycle, and a problem that looked like the start of a nightmare turned out to cost nothing but a few minutes of time. This is the turning point where DIY tools earn their place. That $20 scanner wasn't just a gadget. It revealed the difference between catastrophic failure and a loose rubber tube. If I had to rely on a shop for every unexplained light, I could have easily paid $120 just for diagnostic labor long before anyone even fixed a thing. Instead, with just the code reader, I had enough clarity to know what was really happening. And that ability to interpret problems is what keeps drivers from being trapped in the financial spiral of piling repairs. It doesn't stop with the scanner either. Another tool worth adding to even a basic home kit is a battery tester, like the BT100. It's a handheld unit that costs about $42, and what it does is remove the guesswork around starting issues. Too often, batteries get swapped out the moment a car struggles to start, and auto parts stores are quick to push a new one, often costing over $200 installed. The tester hooks directly to the battery and reports actual health and cold cranking amps, so you can see whether the battery is truly failing or if something else is drawing it down. Owning one simple tester is keeping a perfectly good battery in service and avoiding wasted replacements. A $10 bottle, a free hose reattachment, and a $42 tester showed how small steps prevent massive bills. Instead of handing control to the shop, these tools gave clarity and saved thousands. That's the real power. Knowledge creates options, and options mean money stays in your pocket. So here's the challenge. Stop fearing every warning light. Start testing before paying. With just a little initiative, you'll know if the issue is serious or simple. If $10 can silence a shutter and expose the truth, imagine what steady, budget-minded maintenance could do over your car's entire lifespan.